my woman is not going to get this. Even in school, men are pressured and everything, but because they're told to be strong, they just leave it inside them and say, okay, we'll die with it. But that's not the norm that I have. And I introduced it to my friend. I was like, you know what? We can do this because men go through a lot as well. And I really have passion to advocate for men unlike women because men are always neglected. And like women, like Africa at large, we look at women the most. Say, no, women go through this, girls go through this. Because most of the organizations that we have in Africa, they're like girls this, girls that, women that. But men organizations are few. And I believe to say in 2 years, 3 years to go by, I think we're going to have more organizations that speak for men. And men should also be having that ample in them of saying, okay, let me just open up and speak out what I'm feeling. And like closing up, because I believe to say Mama Weya Malila, he's even better than Omisa Malila.
Oh,
So,
great.
Now, Mr. Andrew, you also, just a brief introduction.
So, my name is Andrew Junyamwima. So, basically, the main focus of this organization, it's a youth-driven organization. So, I looked at the society in Zambia, right? If you look at stigma, most of the people who we call junkies, what gender are they?
They're men.
Male, right?
Yeah, male,
It's
yeah.
men, right?
Yeah.
And these are young men. Young men should be the ones pushing the economy, right? They should be the ones who are the leaders right now. They should be the ones to speak about mental health openly. But the challenge is there's a lot of stigma around mental health. We're always told, no, as a man, you should man up. No, as a man, it's normal for you to open up because you were given emotions. Even in the Bible, they say Jesus wept. Right? But you are.
Jesus
why you
was
saying,
a
"Mama,
leader."
yes. But I usually ask young men, how many of you have ever seen your father cry in your presence? You can ask your father, your grandfather. It's weird for them to even have that experience. So we always feel guilty as men to open up. And men, we measure our value by how much money you make, how many responsibilities you can solve. But as a man, there's sometimes when things are not just working out. And it's not your fault, right? It's just that time in your life. But you should know that your mind can be the darkest place. So you should be able to open up, find people who are trustworthy. You should be able to cry. You should be able to express your feelings. As much as you see people looking happy on social media, that's fake, 90%. And if you look at the statistics of suicide, the rate is higher when it comes to the men. Why are men killing themselves? Why are husbands killing themselves? Why can't your father be able to express himself? Why can't your brother express himself? It's because of the stigma. You should always be a man. You should man up. Don't cry. No, that's a lie. So I want to tell men, like, this is our man. As men, even when you're playing golf, you're watching a football match, find a circle. Be open enough to say, oh, gentlemen, I have to be honest with you, my brother. Everything as you see it is not as it is. Mentally, I'm not okay.
Great.
And you shouldn't feel judgment because you're aware in the right environment.
Beautiful.
Yes. So these spaces should be created. We cannot just talk about men's mental health. What do men do? Men are always saying, I'm busy. I'm busy. But do you know even God had to rest? Who are you? Like, you understand?
On the 60th day,
Yes.
which is today.
So we should look at this not as
Are you
something
comparing
simple.
yourself to Christ?
No, I'm not. But you know, I am a child of God. Right?
Yeah, you're a child of
Created
God.
his
Yeah.
own image.
So
get to
God
live
knew
like
that
him.
I'm not a perfect being, right? There's some days when I'm happy, there's some days when I'm sad, but I shouldn't feel like I'm meant to live this life to impress people, right? I have limitations. That
I know you guys listen to music. I'll definitely ask this question to you. You know Omalay?
Yes.
Yeah, that song, I Can Never Be Sober. Yeah, you know it, huh?
Yes, I do go ahead.
I'm a mess. Something
I'm a
like
mess,
that.
I'm
I'm
a
a
mess,
mess.
yes.
Yeah, so you were saying, I take alcohol because people don't understand the problems I go through. Sometimes I'm happy, sometimes I'm sad. I don't know what to do after that. So what's your take on men especially that take alcohol and they're being encouraged by such kind of a song? By the way, it's a good tune, huh? Yeah, you should listen to it.
Okay, so what I can say about men that take alcohol, I will simply put it under drug abuse because the moment you involve yourself in alcohol taking while you're going through things, that's drug abuse. You're trying to take a drug that can make you forget about what
Drown
you're going
your
through.
sorrow or your pain.
But at the actual moment, you're going to be sober the next day and you find your problems. So
I
the
can
best
never be sober. That's what you were saying.
you can never be sober, but that's drug abuse. Because the moment you say you can never be sober, it means you'll be doing that every day and you're abusing drugs. That's abusing drugs. Because in as much you want to put yourself to be an alcoholic, there's a label and the percentage of alcohol one should take. I'm not judging people that take alcohol and everything, but that will eventually fall under drug abuse because you're abusing your body. It's taking in something that's so excessive for it to contain. Because you've told yourself you can never be sober because of problems. And like you being out there, like I said in the beginning, and like you being out there, you just speak out what you're feeling. There are a lot of people that are willing to help people that are going through pressure. It could be a jobless, and maybe things are not going your way. It could be in your Christian
Probably
life.
it's the judgment these people get. You know, you want someone to talk to or someone closer to you, but the moment you disclose certain information to them, it becomes
Has
a
to
problem.
judge
They
you
take
now.
advantage of that. Probably that's the reason why other people do not quit when it comes to, you know, drug abuse and these other vices. So what's your take on that aspect? I'll throw it to Andrew now.
So for me, my take is it's a what you mentioned, right? It's very interesting. It's a coping mechanism, right? So instead of you seeing a therapist, you rather drink alcohol, right, to cover that pain. So if you look at like speaking from statistics, because I like to state facts,
Yeah,
right?
sorry to cut you short.
Yes,
I mean,
yes.
it's very hard for a junkie, for example, to seek help from a therapist or somebody who is in the health institution.
Yeah.
They would rather talk to the closest person, maybe a family member, but you find that they're being condemned by those family members or just colleagues in society. So what's your point on that one? Because when you talk about a junkie visiting a health specialist, obviously, that's a lie. They can't. It's not possible. It's us to follow them. You get the point?
I get your point.
Yeah, so what's your point, your take on that?
So my take on that, like I say, I'll always say this. I don't believe that we have junkies. We just have people, right, who are going through things that the eye can't see. And for those people, I'm telling them, like us as mental health and anti-drug abuse youth organization.
But how do you know that they're junkies?
No, you know, everything, everything comes with
So it's just
the
the
power
team.
of the tongue,
It's
right?
just
It's
Temporarily
just a
used
temporary
Yes,
to
it's the
word.
power of the
Yeah.
tongue. Let me tell you one thing about being a man. Like you said, why don't we open up? There are three things. It's either people see you as a failure, right? As a criminal.
Or chisimvwa imvwa.
You
know
get
that
my point? Or they'll see you as someone who's weak because as men, we're always told to be strong, right? But being strong is not only about being physically fit. You also have to be mentally strong. So when you talk about these junkies or these people are not just junkies. If you go into the details of their lives, you might find maybe he or she grew up without a mother or father, right? You might find out that he or she started using drugs because they went to a place like a church and they were condemned. If I ask anyone saying, do you have mental health challenges? How can you be helped? The first place they think of is what? China. But that's stigma. We should be able to open spaces whereby men in general should be able to talk about their mental health challenges at networking events in the church because they're open spaces. Because at the end of the day, we say mental health has no face. That's why you see someone can be rich and famous and successful, even a family
going
man,
through it.
and you hear that they've committed suicide. What does society say? How can he kill himself? You see? The stigma.
Okay. Now,
Yes.
quickly, because we're running out of time.
Yes.
You talked about these people that draw into society due to different, backgrounds they're coming from.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe bari mutamfya panganda, bari mukana this and that. But let's look at the people that were not chased at home, but they are, mentally ill and they are disturbed with various reasons. What's your take on that?
Okay, so
Omuntu barikara fye bwino, baramusunga fye bwino, but awona ikafeja.
Yeah.
okay, one thing I've gotten to understand is that in as much you're kept well and everything, right? There are certain challenges that you have and you feel like you can't open up to your parents, your relatives, could be your brothers, your uncles and everything, right? You feel like you can't open up. it could be school pressure, it could be society pressure, even the environment that we're in. They say charity begins at home, right? You're raised all well, but then you get to find yourself in a society where there are different type of people. You mingle yourself with different kids. And at the end of the day, there are certain abilities that we get to have. I would say, let's say you're in a group of people that drink and smoke, right? And then there's that norm that people say fit in, but that's not fitting in, you're destroying yourself. There's that norm they say fit in. And you're trying to fit in, right? You feel like you're going to lose out on having friends and everything, that becomes pressure for you. Maybe the school pressure and everything, then you feel like when you tell your father or your mother, they're going to condemn you by saying, no, you should be studying, you should be what? And at the end of the day, I've seen a lot of students, I was strictly go on students, I've seen a lot of students abusing drugs. It could be weed, alcohol, and everything. I've seen a lot of students doing that. Not because they are not brought up properly or their homes are damaged and everything. No. They are brought up by both parents. The house is well doing and everything. They are given everything they want. They can call today, I want this, they'll be given. I want that, they'll be given. But it's just certain things that they are going through that they can't open up home. They can't even tell anyone in society saying, I'm going through this. But when you ask them deeply, they'll tell you they're going through things, and you get to wonder, like, but how come? You come from a well-to-do family, they do everything for you. So sometimes it's not about where you come from or where you come from in general. It's not all about that. We meet different people in society, and maybe the norm of saying fitting and everything pushes us to the age of doing
Sorry
things
to
that
cut you
we
short. I
Yeah,
think the
I
man
know,
was good.
Matthews.
Yeah, due to
Actually-
time, but
You know,
maybe
actually, I think due to time, you know, we have limited time. I think it would have been better for you, Mr. Andrew, just to give the closing remarks as we commemorate men's mental
health.
Yes.
and the strategies that your organization has put in place to
Yeah,
just
to
ensure
reach
they
out to
engage
young people out there so that they are best assisted.
Oh, okay. So I will start with the strategies that our organization is using to reach out to men in specific, right? So we're basically organizing events where we like invite young people and men, right, as brothers to have these honest conversations as men that they cannot have with any other person. And then we are also able to create opportunities, right? Because you are telling this person that he's a junkie, but what do they do? What keeps them busy? So that's how we bring in sports, art, to make sure that they channel that energy to creativity. And then my last say is, my brothers, my fathers, my grandfathers, are you really okay? You know, there's no need for you to suffer in silence. There are people like us who have a listening ear without any judgment. We won't call you a smoker, an alcoholic. You are not defined by the bad decisions you've made. No one should judge you for that. You are not meant to be perfect as a man. As a man, you are meant to grow and make sure you live to your potential.
right.
Yes.
Thank you so much
It's
for...
been an honor.
Yeah.
Mr. Meki,
Hearing on the
thank you
morning.
always for the opportunity.
Not a problem.
No, we appreciate.
Mr.
Thank you so much
Emmanuel,
for coming.
Yes,
We
even
hope
the
to have you
camera.
next time.
I'm humbled.
Tariro, what's your call to action, even as you give your compelling summary framework?
Okay. First of all, let me give my summary of work to the men out there. They say Mwamina Samalila, but that's not what we believe in as an organization. We believe in a man crying out and we help you. It doesn't matter how many times you've tried, how many times you've spoken out, and there are people that haven't heard you. We do hear you out. And being a lady, a woman, a mother, a girl child, I'm a mother somewhere.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I'm called auntie, mommy somewhere, yeah. So being a sister to the nation, I believe men should cry out, men should speak out what they're feeling, and we'll be there to help you. I'm one person that really supports men the most, unlike women, because women have been supported 100%, but when
Okay.
you look at men, it's 1%. So cry out, Mamna Malila, don't sit inside and die and not to be sober. You have to be sober. Just cry out, we'll be there to
Emmanuel, I
help
think
you.
you should pick it up now.
Yeah, thank you so much for making an appearance. Dear viewers, we were having a conversation on mental wellness awareness. As you